Alrighty, everybody. Just got the okay to start our planetarium show. So I want to put away our space trivia questions up on the screen because now we're going to be heading into the unknown. Ooh. And welcome everybody to the Morrison Planetarium. Really quickly, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Christian. I want to be your planetarium presenter. And just a heads up, I'm not just a voice coming out of the walls. I'm actually a person, and I'm standing right behind you. Hey, I'm up here, y'all. Don't hurt your necks. Look forward into the dome before you. That's where the whole show is going to be. I just want to let you know that I'm here. I'm going to be your planetarium presenter. You're a space pilot of a sort. And everything that you see in purple is going to be one enormous screen, thanks to the help of 6 different projectors hiding throughout our planetarium dome. And everything that you're going to see on this big screen, folks, is backed by scientific data, evidence, peer review, and critique. And I'm very, very excited for y'all to join us for the last planetarium show here at the Morrison, because this is by far my favorite show to do, because this show is called Tour of the Universe. And you're going to be hearing my voice for the next 30 minutes as I actively live fly you through space. And what we're going to be doing, well, we're going to be starting off pretty close to the Earth, and we're going to be zooming all the way out to the very edge of the observable universe. Hopefully by the end of the show, you won't have an existential crisis of where we are in space. But hopefully you don't get too much of that. Warn everybody beforehand. And before we get started with our show, I do have to go over some quick house rules just so that we're all on the same page. We have a great experience in the planetarium dome. First off, there's no food or drinks allowed inside, so if you manage to bring any snacks or beverages, make sure those are put away till the end of the show. We want to keep the theater as clean as possible for all the guests coming in the future. Also, if you happen to have any 21st century gadgets like cell phones, smartwatches, anything that produces bright white light or loud sound, now is the perfect time to turn them off, deactivate them, put away for the next 30 minutes, as these are very distracting, not only for you, but for the folks sitting behind you. That really bright white light really takes away from the planetarium experience, because this room is going to get quite dark. And also, folks, if you need to exit the planetarium for any reason, you're more than welcome to do so. All we ask is that you exit at the very top of the planetarium. That's where you're going to find the exits before, during, and after the show. So when in doubt, always make your way up the stairs, not down them. Although if you're a person that has trouble climbing the stairs, don't worry. Once the show's over, we'll have someone escort you to a lower exit, so just stay seated for a little bit longer once the show's over. And last but not least, folks, this show is very immersive thanks to our 75-foot dome above us. If at any point during the show you start to feel overwhelmed, you start to experience motion sensitivity, well, there's a really quick and easy trick to ground yourself. All you got to do is close your eyes, take a few big deep breaths, and your brain will remember that you're sitting in a planetarium in San Francisco and not hurtling across the universe, at least not more than the usual. Hee hee hee. But with that being said, it looks like we're ready to go. Just going to wait for that last bit of cell phones to get put away, send that last text message, and then we're going to get started with our show. Alrighty, everybody. I invite you to sit back, relax, and let's begin our tour of the universe. Alrighty, folks, as I mentioned, we're going to be starting off pretty close to the Earth, not right on it. We can see the Earth just down below. We can see the city lights starting to pop on up. There we go. We can see all the city lights from the Nile just down below. And we're going to be starting off at this really cool spacecraft just above our planet called the International Space Station, or the ISS for short. Now, a lot of people tend to ask me, hey, Christian, what is the International Space Station? I hear about it all the time in the news and articles, but I don't really know what it is. Could you explain it for me? Well, of course, folks. The International Space Station is a research facility, a laboratory that orbits around our Earth. And how this came to be, well, a bunch of countries wanted to figure out what happens to things in space, because there are certain things that you can do up here that you can't on Earth. Some of the science experiments that they'll conduct up here are things like, what happens when you try to grow plants in space? Do the plants grow the same? Do they grow differently with less gravity? Another one is, what happens when you try to spark a match in space? Does the flame act the same? Does that act differently with less gravity? And one of my favorites is where they had 2 identical twins. One twin lived on Earth for about a year. The other one lived on the International Space Station for a year. After that year, they compared and contrasted. Turns out when you live in space for a long period of time, you tend to age a little bit slower, but not only that, you also lose a lot of body mass index. You lose a lot of muscles because you don't have gravity constantly working down on your body the whole time. So if you're planning to live in space for a long time, remember to exercise daily. Hee hee hee. And also, folks, the International Space Station looks enormous on our screen right now, but it's not that big in actuality. It's only about the size of an American football field. So if you've never been to an American football game, don't worry, that's okay. You can also use the entire California Academy of Sciences, the museum that we're sitting in right now. That's about how big it is. And also what's really neat is that this thing is going incredibly fast, folks. It's going a whopping 17,000 miles per hour, where it orbits once around the Earth every 90 minutes, where it experiences 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets a day. Whew, how romantic. And also, folks, this thing looks really far above our planet Earth, but the International Space Station isn't too far away from our planet. It's only about 225 miles above the surface of Earth. 225 miles, that's like going from San Francisco to Santa Barbara, a nice little road trip to get away with the family for the weekend. And to tell you the truth, folks, this is as far as we put humans into space nowadays, because traveling into space is quite expensive. You have to build yourself a rocket ship or get your hands on a rocket ship, and then you have to get your hands on a whole lot of rocket fuel. And I mean a lot of rocket fuel. And once you get your hands on all that rocket fuel, you have to account for all the food, water, all the air you're going to be breathing while you're up here in space, so the bill starts to get quite costly quite rapidly. So again, we only send humans about 225 miles above the surface of our Earth. But the International Space Station, folks, is just the first stop on our tour of the universe, so let's slowly leave it behind. We're going to see it slowly disappear compared to our planet Earth. It looks like we're hovering just above Saudi Arabia right now, so we're going to lose it to our planet. And before we lose track of the International Space Station, I want to add a nice little orbital path so we can keep track of it as we continue zooming on out. All right, folks, so now we zoom so far out, we're looking down at our planet Earth. And I do want to let you know that the space program that I'm using here in the planetarium is something that you can go home and download, and you can fly through space just like how I am. The space program that I'm using here is something called OpenSpace. So if you go to your favorite search engine, type in OpenSpace project, then you can find the website where you can download it. But just a heads up, OpenSpace is not entirely finished. We may come across a few bugs and glitches here and there. In fact, I see one right there, that big missing chunk of data. Hopefully we can look past some of our glitches and continue on with our show. And also just want to let you know, OpenSpace uses a whole lot of processing power. So if you don't have a newer computer, I wouldn't recommend downloading the program. It may overwhelm your computer, but if you got something new or a gaming computer, give it a try. It's a whole lot of fun. But also, if you're a person like me that doesn't want to download anything, you just want to fly through space, just hit a website link. Well, we also have another great option called NASA's Eyes. So just like the human eyeball, just type in NASA's Eyes to your favorite search engine. Don't have to download anything, and you can fly through space just like how I am. And it's a whole lot of fun. So we have OpenSpace and NASA's Eyes. But let's leave our planet Earth behind, because now we're going to be making our way over to our nearest natural neighbor to us in space, the moon. And alrighty, folks, so we humans have been to the moon before, but that was quite a while ago. That was between 1969 and 1972, thanks to NASA's 6 Apollo missions that brought a total of 12 incredibly lucky guys to walk on the surface of the moon. They got to conduct science, and of course, they had some fun. They got to play some golf up here as well. Ooh, and also looks like where most of our near side moon is in the darkness, so luckily we are inside of a planetarium. Let me turn off the nighttime. Hey, there we go. That looks much more familiar. And again, folks, last time we sent humans to the moon was 1972, a little more than 50 years ago or so. Whew, that's a little while. But don't worry, NASA has a new mission in the works that's going to be sending humans to the moon in the next few years. This new mission is called Artemis. And what's really neat about Artemis is that the whole purpose of it is that NASA wants to send humans to Mars, but before we send humans deep into our solar system, we need to figure out exactly how to have humans live out here in space. So the moon is the perfect stepping stone to figure out all the logistics, how we're going to live out here in space. And what's also really neat is that NASA is going to be sending the first woman to the moon, but not only that, they're also going to be sending the first person of color to the moon, but not only that, they're also going to be setting up lunar bases throughout the moon. Pretty much, we have a lot of interest in the South Pole region of the moon. Whoa, that is a new glitch that I have not seen before. 1 second, folks. Hopefully our moon will come back. Looks like our center projector is acting a little bit funny. Give me 1 second. Let me try to troubleshoot that real quick. Give me 1 moment, folks. I'm going to try to call my engineer so we can get that fixed real quick, because that is a big, important part of our screen. So give me 1 moment. Thank you so much. Alrighty, folks. So my engineer, I just got hold of them. They're going to try to troubleshoot this remotely. So we're just going to give it another minute or so. And if they are unable, well, we're going to see what we can do. But just give us another moment or so. Sorry about that, y'all. And also, even though we live in the future, things still don't work. So, hey. And once again, folks, we do appreciate your patience. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I just got word from our planetarium engineers, and unfortunately, we are going to have to stop our show here because this is not an easy fix. They're going to have to get in there under the hood and really fix this issue. So I'm really, really sorry to announce, but we're going to have to end our tour of the universe here at the moon. I want to thank you again for stopping by and watching this with us here today, but I want to bring the white lights up for y'all. And I'm really, really sorry that we have to cancel our show, folks. Sometimes things don't always work out. But once again, the exits are going to be at the very top of the planetarium. Make your way up towards the very top. And again, very, very sorry for that, folks. Thank you for stopping by. And feel free to check out the rest of the museum. There is a lot of cool stuff to check out. You can still check out the aquarium. The museum's going to be open for another 15 minutes or so. Maybe take a look at the gift shop. It's on your way out. But maybe next time things will work out in our tour of the universe. And also, you can always check out our tour of the universe on our Facebook page or the Morrison Planetarium Facebook page. You can always check out our show there if you're traveling from afar. But again, thank you so much, y'all, and thank you for understanding. We'll see you next time.